Welcome. We are starting a series on Virtual Planroom, and Virtual Planroom is basically our digital documents. Anymore in this digital age, it's great that we can have everything centralized, and uh, people using the paper sheets anymore, sometimes they may not have the most current version, and that could be a problem. So what we want to do is have a central location for all of our drawings and make sure that they're as updated as quickly as possible, and then that everyone has access to that set of documents. And we accomplish that by our virtual plan room. Now there's many different ways on how people can set this up, and so I'm just going to take you through how our project is setting that up. You can either mimic that in the future, or you can take the good points and modify it to your needs. So here's how our folder structure is set up. The main thing for Virtual Plan Room is to have a consistent folder structure that people can navigate fairly easily. And also with hyperlinking, you need to make sure that the folder path doesn't really change, because otherwise that could break your hyperlinks. And so what we do is we have our parent folder and we call it our live documents. So if you take a look there, that is what we make available to everyone. So we'll make this as a link that people can download this whole folder, and so long as they keep this folder structure intact as is, it has relative hyperlink paths, and then you can find things. So here's what we have in our set. So we make this available to our construction team, our construction manager construction team, as we're coordinating all the work that is going out there. We make this available to our subcontractors. We also make it available to the owner and the architect, should they want to see the current set of documents that we're working on. The first thing that we have is our current set. This is where all of our drawings will reside. And so and specifications. So within that, we have different folders. We have it divided up, by discipline. So the first folder would be our specifications, which are not really drawings, just specifications. The next one would be our general drawings, and then our civil drawings, landscape, such and so forth, too. And we'll just open up the architectural so you get an idea. Um, we don't have our sheets combined into one set. Most certainly you can do that, but for slip sheeting and things like that, the way that we have everything is our drawings are separate. So we have the drawing name, the drawing number and the drawing name, and for all the disciplines, and that is in our current folder. Uh, the next main folder that we have is our spec and CM supplemental revisions. This is mainly our bid packages as they were issued and sent out. Again, if anyone ever wanted to know the history of the bid packages as they came out, they can go to this folder and find it. Not many people would go to this folder, but it's there. There's always a history of where the document started from the very beginning of the project to now. The next folder is the revisions, and this is where we have most everything being issued to us, whether it's like an ASI, which is Architectural Supplemental Instructions, or if there were RFIs. So anything that issues a specification or a drawing, we just keep here in our revisions. And so, say for revision, and we called it 103, we had several drawings that were issued. And in later videos, we'll show you how we manage that with our revision tracking log and everything. But again, this is a full history of our project from the beginning to where we are now. Everyone has access to every revision that's been issued. RFI responses is the next thing. So every project has requests for information and RFIs. And so again, from the very first RFI until where we are now, is every RFI that we have on this project is going to be somewhere in this folder and sorted by number, obviously, so it's easy to find. And again, everyone can go back through the history of this project and find it. It's also handy for those RFI responses because as we post our drawings and we can create hyperlinks that will go back to these RFIs. Should anyone want to know what happened in a specific spot on a drawing and we reference that RFI number, it will hyperlink back to this and we can immediately open it. The next thing we have is our ASI folders, which is again the Architectural Supplemental Instructions. We're up to 44 now. And so basically how we do that is we list it as the name, the date that we received it, and a short description of what it is. And most of these would have, some drawing or some specification that was issued with it. So those would get divided up into that revisions folder that we showed you before. But again, this is the original document as it was issued from the architect. And the last folder that we have is just as-built, and this is more for field coordination or some things that have been going on throughout the project as issues arise, or if we have something that's handy for the subcontractors to reference back to, or even ourselves. So that's available. So that's the general idea of the live documents. Join us in our next videos and we'll show you on our virtual plan room how we update our documents. Thanks.